In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to edit a wedding trailer using Adobe Premiere Pro. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Cjam, and as I mentioned, we're going to be editing a wedding trailer today, and we're going to be using footage that we got from Envato Elements. Now, this video is sponsored by Envato Elements, but we'll talk a little bit more about them later on. So I'm a wedding videographer, right? I film weddings and I edit weddings. So this is something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm excited to share it with you. But as I said, I didn't film this footage myself. I just grabbed some footage from Envato Elements, and I'm just going to be showing you the basic principles on how to create a cool cinematic wedding trailer. And obviously, you know what a trailer is. It's just a little tease or preview of, or even a recap of what took place on a wedding day. So what we're going to be using to create this trailer today is we're going to be using some footage. As I mentioned, we're going to be using some nice romantic wedding music that I also got from Envato Elements, and we're also going to be using some video elements like a letterbox and a logo to put at the end. So with all that considered, let's go ahead and jump into Premiere Pro. So here I am in Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new project, and I'm just going to name this LSPV wedding trailer tutorial. And I'm going to keep everything else the same. We're just choosing where to save this project. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And then our project is going to be opened like this. And then you already know you have your project tab here. You have your effects controls program. This is where you're going to be viewing everything that you're editing. And you know you have your timeline right here, right? And the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and right click here in my project window, or my project tab, and I'm just gonna create a new bin. I'm just gonna name this bin footage, right? That's where I'm gonna be bringing in all the footage that I'm using, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start bringing those in. Right now, before I bring those in, let me just go ahead and give you a rundown of what kind of footage I'll be using today. So I have a really wide shot of the bride and groom walking in like a courtyard, garden courtyard, like a super wide shot that's filmed from like high up on a building, right? And then I have another angle of that same scene, the bride walking up to the groom, and it's a little bit tighter. It's not as wide, right? And then I have another angle from in front where the bride is walking up behind him, about to touch the groom on his shoulder. And then we have a tighter shot of that same scene of the bride about to touch the groom, right? And then we have one final shot with the bride and the groom interacting with each other. That's a really close-up shot on their faces, right? So that's the order in which I'm going to be using those shots. So let's just go ahead and start bringing them in and start editing. So here I have all my footage. I'm just going to go ahead and drag them into my footage folder, right? And I'm just going to minimize that. And if I go into my footage folder, you can see them all here, right? They're all right here, just as I mentioned. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to my project tab. I'm just going to right click and create a new item, because this new item that we want is our sequence, right? This is the video that we want to edit, the wedding trailer that we want to create. So let me go ahead and click sequence, and then I'm just going to name this sequence LSPV wedding trailer tutorial. The project is what we named earlier, and this is the sequence. This is the actual video that we're going to be saving to share to social media or YouTube, etc., right? Now let's just go ahead and click OK. But before I do that, you can see right here that I have options to choose, like my video settings, and what I'm going to be using today is just like digital SLR 1080p and 30 frames per second, right? That's all we're going to be using today. You could do 24 if you want. Well, actually, I think I may just choose 24. So let's just go ahead and work with 24 frames per second to get it a little bit more filmic looking. All right, so now we have our sequence. You can see it right here. And the next thing I'm going to import is the music, the audio track that I want to use. I'm just dragging that in. as well as the letterbox that I mentioned earlier, right? It's right here, and the letterboxes are just black bars that I just want to use in Premiere Pro. The black bars are what you'd normally see, like if you're watching a movie and the way they filmed that movie is like really wide. So if it's wider than the screen that you're watching it on, then you'll see a black bar on the top and on the bottom, or sometimes even on the sides, just to compensate for that empty space, right? So we're definitely going to be having black bars here today, but our footage is not super wide, so we're just going to be faking it. We're just going to be adding our own letterboxes to give it that cinematic look, right? So let's just go ahead and continue editing, because we have everything that we need to get started. We have our footage, we have the music, and we have our letterbox that we're going to be using. So let me just go ahead and drag in my music or my song onto my timeline right here. Just gonna drag it down to the audio section of the timeline, and then let's open my footage bin, or go back into my footage bin, and then let me drag in the first file. That's I renamed it to number 1 because they had like really long file names, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm not getting it mixed up when I'm editing, right? Let me just drag this in just like that, and then let me zoom in on the timeline for you guys, and then let me drag in number 2, let me drag in number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, right? And this is the order in which I want the footage to appear, right? When you're editing your own wedding footage, you can obviously review your footage before you bring it into Premiere Pro, so you definitely know how you want your trailer to flow from clip to clip, right? Now I'm just going to go back to my project tab, and I'm just going to drag in that letterbox, right? It's an ultra wide letterbox. You can see the difference here. Let me show you. You can see it here. It's this pink one right here. And if I turn off the visibility right here, you can see what's happening. See that? It's giving it that really wide cinematic look, right? And I really like it. So this is our letterbox here, and this is our footage here, right? Now let me just go ahead and hit play. That way you can hear how the footage is reacting with the music, or how it feels with the music. All right, so nice. You can see she's walking up to him. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right, let me drag this up as well. All right, that way you can see like what's going on the screen. All right, let me hit play again. That is so cool. All right, so I want to cut it right here, like right on the beat of the song, because that makes it seem like it's flowing better when you edit on like the high points of the track, or like on the beats of the track, the beats of the music, right? So let me just go back. So right there, when the piano comes in, the key comes in like boom, right? Right there. And you can also expand your track. Let me show you. Let me go back and show you. So if you're to double click on your music track right here, right? This track, it's on audio 2. If you double click on it right here, you can see it expands, right? And if you were to hit plus and minus on your keyboard, you can see the high points, like these points right here, where the audio track spikes. Those are like beats that you can cue your edit, your cuts to, right? So let me just go ahead and run it back. Right here, right at this point here. That's where I want to cut this clip and move to the second one. Let's play it back to see if it goes to black, right? Because there's nothing right here, so it should cut to black. Perfect. What do you guys think? Now I'm just going to move clip number 2, which is the tighter shot, to come in right as it cuts there, right? Perfect. See that? That is so cool. All right, let's go back. All right, see that she's reaching her hand out right now. Let me expand this some more. And right as she reaches out her hand, there's another clip number 3, I believe, where you actually see her from the other side, like reaching out her hand. So we're just going to switch to that clip because that's the story we're telling. So if you were to film this, this is called a first look in wedding terms, right? It's where the bride and the groom are seeing each other for the first time, sometimes before the ceremony, before the wedding ceremony. Or even you can film this after the ceremony just to give it a nice feel, right? So this is a first look. So if you're filming this, you film from behind the super wide shot like we have here for number 1 and 2, and then you can change your position to angle number 3, which I'm going to be showing you right now, right? So here it is, and let's scrub through angle number 3. See right there when she reaches out her hand, let's just cut it right there and then bring it to meet number 2 here. All right, let's see if it cuts the black on cue first. Perfect. Let's bring it back now. Let me change the color of all the clips. So number 1 is violet, number 2 is forest. I'm just right clicking on each clip and going to label and then changing the color, right? That way you can tell them apart. All right, let's see what it looks like. Perfecto. Perfect. All right, what I'm going to do with clip number 2 is, you see, because we have the letterboxes on top and on the bottom, what I can do is I can go to motion over here and I can move the Y position, right? And that will move the clip up and I will see more of my scene. So let me show you what's happening when I move the Y position. You see what's happening there? I'm bringing them in the center of the shot. You see that? If I drag it down, you see what's happening, but that's not what I want. I want to see more of them. And look at this piece of foreground shrubbery in the in the clip. This is so cool. Well, that's not shrubbery, that's a big old tree, possibly a pine tree, right? Now let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, I'm just gonna cut it. I'm just gonna cut it right here, because I believe later down in this clip I can cut to this one right here. But there's a close-up. I think clip number 4 is a close-up of them like turning, of her like seeing him, or him, a close-up of him turning to look at her. Sorry. So let me just save this point of clip number 3 and let me bring it further down in the timeline, and let me bring clip number 4 back here. Let me bring 5 and 6 up closer as well. And then, so here we are, right? We're right here. He's turning around to look at her. And then we have this one, clip number 4 as well, when he's turning around. So what we can do is, you see the wide shot here of clip number 3 when he's turning around. We can just go to clip number 4, find a point that will sync up with that will make it look like it's perfectly timed, as we've been doing, and then we can just switch it there. So let's go about here. And then, so he's just about turned, right? Just about turned. All right, let me go ahead and hit play. Perfect. Perfect. You can also see that she's looking down at the camera guy, possibly. But that's fine. All right, so. All right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So what I'm probably going to do is just cut that area where she's looking down at the camera guy, and just like pick up right here. So if you hover to the edge of your clip, you'll get this red thing right here. You can just drag it in or shorten it. If you hover to the beginning, same thing. Or if you want to cut your clip right here, you just hit C on your keyboard and then just click, click, click. You see, you can cut it up into little bits and pieces, right? Let me just Control and Z to undo all of that. Control and S to save our project, because we haven't saved it since we started working. My apologies. Please forgive me. Control and S to save. All right, now we can continue and see what it looks like. All right, I like that. That's much better. Let me hit the clip by pressing V, and then let me see if I can move it up to see if I just want to move her up a little bit in the frame, right? So remember, we're going to effects controls over here and we're moving the Y values, right? Which is up and down on the Y axis, right? I think. Yeah, that's what it is, Y axis. All right, how about there, right? Because she's the focus of this shot, so I want to make sure that she's properly framed. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, so I also want to save. Let me see what I have for 6. All right, that can stay for 6. Let me see what I have for the end of 3. All right, so they're for the end of 4, they're kissing. So right as they're going for the kiss, let me just cut it here. And you can see this huge spike on the music track right here. That's a cut, that's a beat in the track that you can edit to, right? Let me just pull back. Perfect. So right as they go in for the kiss, I'm gonna switch back to the clip that I saved. This wide shot here, this nice little flowing, moving shot. Love that, very cinematic. So they're about to kiss right there. So let's start it here. And then let's bring it to meet clip number 4 here, right? All right, perfect. And then you see we have another editing point that we can cut to on the track. To about there. There's a huge spike right here in the track. You can see that, right? Now let's play it and see if it switches on cue. Perfect. What do you guys think? How does that look so far? And then let me just bring clip number 6. Clip number 6. I think clip number 5, I may have duplicated it. Yeah, it's the same thing. So I actually don't need it. So let me just delete that by hitting delete. Now I can bring clip number 6 when they're just interacting with each other right here. And then right here in this clip, I can end my teaser, my trailer, right? I can just bring up their name that says like John and Jane, right? That's all I can do. I don't have to do anything else, right? So now let me just pull back the music track because it's not that long. Let me just cut the letterbox by hitting C for my eraser tool and then just deleting the portion that I don't want. And then let me play this from the beginning and see what we got. All right. Love that shot. Perfect. That's a good cue. And then, yeah, that's it. This is perfect for sharing with family and friends. You know, the bride and groom can share it on social media with their family and friends. And it's just a really cool, intimate, romantic video. Let's go again. Well, let me just check this. I just want to check clip 3, where it meets with 4. All right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. What do you guys think? No, I'm just gonna write like John and Jane, right? I'm just gonna let it fade onto the screen on and off the screen. So let me just go ahead and hit T for my type tool. And then let me write John plus Jane, right? Let me select all of that, go over to my effects controls. You'll see text here, right? You can change the font. Let me use, what do I want to use? Let me use Nixa. Let me use Nixa. Do I still have Nixa on here? Yeah, let me use Nixa. And then make it about 80. Align it to the center. And then you can just like literally align it to the center of your sequence of your footage, or you can put it off to the side like this, right? Perfect. And if I wanted to like move them over more to the side so I have more space for the text, I can click on the footage, clip 6, go to motion, hit scale, and just increase it by about 110%, or increase it to 110%, and then I can move it over to the left, to the right some more, right? See that? And this blue line is the edge of the clip, and you don't want the edge to be like that. You see that black space? That's not what you want. And then to about there. That's pretty cool. What do you guys think? Now let me hit the text and hit Control and D, and that will give me my default transitions on the beginning and the end. Let me hit the text, right click, label, and just change it to something else. That way you can see the difference, right? Control and S to save all my changes, and then let me see how it comes onto the screen. Perfect. I don't have to do anything else to that. Let me just size it down a bit to make it about 60. That's fine. You can also add your logo or whatever else you're thinking to add, right? And what I can do is I can extend the John and Jane so it stays on screen longer. And then I can hit clip 6, and I can also hit Control and D to let it fade out at the end, right? And if you don't want to use Control and D, that shortcut, you can click on your clip, go to Effects, Video Transitions, then go to Dissolve, and just like add a cross dissolve or film dissolve, whatever you want to use on the end of your clip, right? And you can extend it, and then let's see what it looks like. Your clip is fading out, right? Perfect. That's exactly what you want. Now let's have them fade out about the same time and see what we got. Perfect, right? And I can hit my audio track and hit Control Shift and D, and that will give me the default audio effects for the default audio transitions, right? Which is constant power, I believe. And then you can also extend that way your audio track fades out while your video is fading out, right? Let's play it and see what we got. Perfect. You can just like shrink the letterbox right there so everything ends at one point. See that? Let's see what it looks like again at the end. Let's hit spacebar to play. But let's save it, Control and S to save. And then and everything should just like fade out smoothly. Perfect. All right, let's just cut the audio track a little bit shorter than the video. That way I don't hear that last piano key at the end, right? Let's see what it sounds like. All right, cool, even better, perfect. And now what you can do, this is perfect as is, right? What you can do next is just a slight color adjustment to this footage, right? So what I can do is I can select one of the clips, go to color, and then let me just, all right, there we have our color. We have the clip selected, clip 4. Over here in my basic color correction, I can just like correct like temperature. I can add like 5 to the temperature, shift the tint. The tint is either green or purple, and as it is by default, it's a little bit green. So what I want to do is I just want to like add like a +3 to the tint, contrast maybe a little bit, maybe like 20 or something. We're not going to go too crazy. Highlights, shadows are perfect. Let me just actually see what the shadows will do. I mean, it's fine as is to me. Saturation, let's just bump that up a little bit, maybe to about 120. And then creative, you can sharpen it here if you want. It's already pretty sharp, but let's just add like a 5 to sharpening, or a 10. But it's already pretty sharp as is, right? And then with your HSL secondary, you can like click this pen dropper here. You can pick a color in the background, like that green there from the trees. And then you can just like extend these sliders to see how much of the greens you have control over. And then you can like You see, this is going into their skin. That's not what I want. So these sliders here in your lumetri color will just allow you to control the area, whatever color we picked the green, and then these slider, the HSL sliders, will allow us to control more of that color that we pick, right? Now that we have our green selected, we can also go down here to the saturation, because we want to adjust the saturation of that green, the green of the trees, to make them even greener, right? Let me show you. So if I slide it to the left, you can see all the green is gone, right? If I slide it to the right, you can see it gets really green, and this is what it looks like at default. So let's just bring it up to 200. You can see that's pretty cool. If I wanted to make the tint, can make it a little bit greener or more purple, like autumn, fall, right? You can do so much with color correcting here, but let's just keep it. That's pretty cool to me. What do you guys think? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an adjustment layer, but as you can see, I just move the letterbox up and the John and Jane text, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create a new layer, a new adjustment layer. Let me switch back to my default workspace. These up here are your workspaces, right? And then if you click on, we were just in color, you can see it switched. I was just in my default right here. Let me go back to my project, create a new item, or I can go down to this tab right here, new item, add an adjustment layer, right? And then I can put my color correcting onto that adjustment layer. I'm just going to go ahead, and it's on clip 4. It's right here, lumetri color. If I turn it on and off, you can see what it does, right? I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control and X to cut it. Click on my adjustment layer and hit Control and V to paste it, right? That way the adjustment is on the adjustment layer itself and not on the actual clip. So if I want to turn off the adjustments over all the clips, I can just turn off the adjustment layer rather than after clicking on each clip and then going into the effects and turning it off, and when I can just turn off the adjustment layer and it's all gone, right? So that's a cool tip for you editors out there. Control and S to save. Let's see the effects of the color adjustment that we just did on the other clips, because remember, it's on the adjustment layer, right? And it's above all the other clips. Let me just right click on the adjustment layer, go to label and change that to another color. Let's do cerulean. That way you can clearly see the distinction between all the clips, right? Let me change number 6 as well. That way everything has a different color. And then Control and S to save. Let's go to clip number 1. You can see what the adjustment layer did. That's looking so rich and green. Clip 2. Let's see. So rich. 3. You already know what it's going to do. Very nice. 4. That's what we worked on. Look at how rich this clip is. The second part of clip 3. See that? That is so cool. That is so cool. And hey, remember how we just like bumped up the green? You know, you can do that to the blue of the sky as well, right? All you have to do is go to your color adjustment, right? Let me show you right here. Let's go to color workspace, Control and S to save. And then you can just go to your HSL secondary, pick the blue of the sky, adjust your sliders and see what you have. And all you have to do next is just go down to saturation and bump up the blue. See that? See, all the blue is gone. See that? Look right here. Look what's happening here. All the blue is gone because I brought it down to -100 or 0, sorry. And then I can just like bump it all the way up to like 150. And you see the sky is like super blue. It's a hot beach day, right? And now what I can do is I can rename this lumetri color here, rename it to like sky blue, because remember we already had a lumetri color effect that we put onto the adjustment layer, right? And we want to be able to tell them differently. So let's just go ahead and hit OK. Let's do the same thing here, Control and X to cut it off this layer, click on the adjustment layer and then hit Control and V to paste it. Now you can see here I have a lumetri color and I have a lumetri color sky blue. Let me go ahead and rename the first one and name it green trees, right? Bracket green trees. So we have, oops, sorry. We have green trees and we have sky blue. So if we wanted to adjust anything, you know, we can go ahead and adjust them individually. And you can also do it for skin tones if you want. You know, skin tones tend to be like, for these people, their skin tones will be in between yellow and orange. For me, my skin tone will be like in between orange and red. So that's a pretty cool tip there. Lumetri color is really powerful within Adobe Premiere Pro, right? And this is just scratching the surface of all the awesome color correcting stuff that you can do here. So with all that we just did, all I have to do now is just export this clip and watch it back, and I know it's perfect based off all that we just did. So let me go ahead and hit Ctrl and S to save it. Let's watch it through one more time and see what we got. Love this track. And then here comes the keys. So cool, so cool. John and Jane, congratulations to John and Jane. And we just fade out. That's it. We don't have to do anything else. As I mentioned earlier, you can add your logo if you'd like to say, hey, this video was produced by whatever your company's name is. And now I'm just going to go ahead and hit Ctrl and M for my export settings. And all I want to do is just match the source. It's an H.264 MP4 high bitrate, exporting with the maximum render quality. And you can just click on this blue writing right here. This is the name of your file, or the name that your file will have. And if you click on it, you can choose where you want to save it, right? And everything is perfect for me. All I'm gonna do now is just click export, and it's gonna export for me. And there it is exporting, right? And now you can go ahead and share your video to YouTube and your other social media platforms. And here's a quick encouragement that I want to give you. If you're filming yourself as well as editing, like if you're the one filming the wedding footage and editing, because remember, today we're just editing, right? You want to make sure that you film it in such a way where you're envisioning the edit, right? So obviously all these clips were shot at a high frame rate. That way it can be slowed down in editing. So you want to be mindful of that while you're filming, right? And the footage that we used to edit today is so perfect. And we could not have created everything that we did here today without the footage from Envato Elements. And Envato Elements is a huge stock video footage library, as well as music tracks that you can use for your video productions. Because as you know, I got the wedding song that we used today from Envato Elements as well. And they also have video templates such as intros and outros that you can even use for your own YouTube videos. And what's cool is Envato Elements wants to give you guys a huge discount off their monthly subscription. And it's not just the discount, you can get unlimited download. So it doesn't matter how much footage you want to download to practice your video editing or to just keep to include in your own video production, it's unlimited. Just hit the first link in this video's description to get that discount and start leveling up right now. And all the clips that I used today, and even the wedding song, the music that I used in this edit, I'll put the links in the description as well, to where you can directly download those from Envato Elements and edit along with me. So with all that we did here today, what do you think about editing a wedding trailer? Did you know that it was that simple, and all you have to do is have a vision and then execute it? If you've edited before, how confident are you to start leveling up your offerings as a video editor? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to Envato Elements for sponsoring this video, and to you guys for making it all possible. Once again, my name is Cjam, and I will see you guys in the next video.